Hi there, my name is Graeme Codrington and I was due to be one of the facilitators and hosts at this year's Learning Innovation Africa event. We were so excited as we put the program together and as we prepared for our 2 days of Virtual Learning Innovation Africa 2020. And it really was a difficult decision for us to decide to postpone it and to look at doing a hybrid event sometime next year, as soon as it's possible with all of this COVID disruption. But it was the right decision because we listened to people like yourself who told us 2020 is just extra. It's over the top. It's demanding more of us than most of us feel that we can give. Not that we're cracking completely under the pressure, but it just is so difficult to focus on getting what needs to be done, that we don't have extra capacity for that development, for that growth. As exciting and as amazing as the LEA program was, we've just heard from you that this is not the right time for that. You're all just heads down getting your job done. And I suppose that's exactly what we thought the situation was, and that's exactly what we wanted to try and do in terms of supporting and helping people like you. You see, we have a strong sense about three things. The first is that we have to find our COVID pace in terms of how we respond to the situation we're in at the moment. And a lot of the Learning Innovation Africa 2020 was going to be focused on looking after yourself as a learning and development professional, looking after yourself just as a person. I began running a number of years ago. Got into my 40s and realized that my waistline wouldn't look after itself. And with all of my travel around the world, running seemed to be the easiest thing I could do. Just a pair of shoes and some running clothes in my suitcase, and I could run through the world's major cities. And I fell in love with it, to be honest. I surprised myself. Discovered that I could quickly get to that park run 5 kilometer and then 10Ks. And then was enjoying, actually, I would never have thought about it because I wasn't a sporty person growing up, kind of enjoying even the half marathon stuff, 21Ks. So I looked at running a marathon and looked at what I could do in terms of an iconic marathon. And I managed to get an entry into the London Marathon for 2020, and I was so excited about it. Sadly, it was cancelled. In fact, I'll be running the virtual edition of the London Marathon on the 4th of October. But as I prepared for the London Marathon in April 2020, I began to ask people for advice, seasoned runners. And if you're a seasoned runner, you will know what advice was given to me because every single runner I asked gave me exactly the same advice for a novice first-time marathon runner. And their advice was, if you're a seasoned runner, you'll know what it was. Don't start too quickly. This is your first big marathon. You're excited, you're fit, you're ready. You've done all of the training. You've got adrenaline in your system. The gun goes, there's music blaring, there's thousands of people around you. There's spectators cheering every step of the way. And the danger is that with all of that excitement, you rush out and you're feeling great for 5Ks, 10Ks. You even get to that half marathon mark and you're feeling on top of the world. The seasoned runners told me that a real marathon only begins at about 35 kilometers. You've got 42 kilometers in total to run. And at about 35 kilometers, if you haven't paced it properly, you just hit a wall. And your body says, can't do this anymore, can't go further. And the last 6-7 Ks are a disaster. Why? Because you started too quickly. I have a real concern that the team at LEA have a real concern that people feel like they're doing well. People look like they are handling the stress. People look like they're getting through the crisis. but we haven't found the right pace. And the reason for that is the second thing that we really wanted to highlight, and that is that COVID isn't finished with us yet. We might be long finished with COVID, but COVID is not finished with us. And we've got still quite a long time of disruption to come. And then we've got more disruption coming after that, because all of the disruptors that we've been talking about for the last few years, artificial intelligence, automation, big data analytics, predictive analytics, machine learning, cloud, mobility, that's all the digital stuff. Add on top of that stuff like climate change and sustainability, and add on top of that geopolitical realities. I mean, look at the political chaos all around the world, from the US elections coming, from Brexit still bumbling up on top of us, US-China trade relations, China-India looking like they're having a war, China-Australia fighting it out between things. Just everywhere you look, there's geopolitical tensions and deep disruptive forces. All of that's still coming our way, and in fact a lot of the digital stuff has actually been accelerated by COVID, because people want more automation. People need more engagement in a virtual space. So we've got to find our COVID pace, because if you've taken a lot of your energy just to get to the last quarter of 2020, and then you think, I've still got the rest of the decade to come. Well, we've got to pace ourselves properly and prepare ourselves for even more disruption upon disruption upon disruption in the years ahead. And so the third thing that Leah was about this year, and the third thing we want to do as a community of learning and development professionals, as a community of people who are convinced that learning and innovation is a key to our future, especially our future here in Africa. The third thing is that we mustn't then be desperate to go back to normal. Rather than rebuilding, we need to reimagine. We need to look at what is coming our way, look at what lies ahead of us, and not approach it with old methodologies, old mindsets, old mentalities, old habit systems and processes, but take the opportunity of a deeply disruptive period. 2020 and 2021 are both going to be more disruptive than we could have ever imagined. And instead of merely trying to survive the crisis, instead of merely trying to wait until we get back to normal, why don't we take the opportunity that this disruption gives us to disrupt even more things? Not in some haphazard, crazy, chaotic way though, but to be deliberate and conscious and careful about reimagining what our contribution is, how we make that contribution, and the value that we add to our businesses. This is basically what I was going to be telling you in the opening keynote session of this year's LEA. So we might have postponed the LEA event until sometime in the future when we can get together, and it'll be a hybrid event even when we do it then. But we thought it might be valuable for you to hear what we were hoping to give you. We want to help you to find your COVID place, to become more resilient and adaptable and flexible, and to also find your voice in the system, so that not everything is just about delivery, productivity, go, 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 go. We've got to look after ourselves, look after our people, look after our teams and our colleagues. Secondly, we want to help you to see the future, to see the disruptions coming your way, and to show you some of the most important tools and techniques and tips that are available in our network. And then finally, we wanted to inspire you to reimagine the future, to do things differently, not just wait until the crisis is over and then start thinking about that, but to actually start that reimagination process now. So hopefully you will do that anyway. Hopefully as a team behind Learning Innovation Africa, we can support you over the next few months and weeks. Yes, we hear you. It's not time yet to take 2 days out of your diary and come and spend time in a conference. But it is time to connect to the network, time to connect to the tribe, as we sometimes like to talk about it. So stay connected with us at LEA. Stay connected with the resources that we're going to put out in a digital format over the next few weeks and months. Stay connected to the community, to the network of people that can help you through the crisis and set you up for success in the rest of the 2020s and beyond. My name is Graeme Codrington. I wish we could have met together at LEA this year, but we will stay connected in this crazy virtual digital world. And together, we'll not just get through, but we will reimagine what our future can be.